Hello Scorpio, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Mariana and I'm preparing here for your reading, Scorpio. So I feel like this round of reading, I think it was present in the last round of readings also, but it's still here. And it has to do with a sense of, again, integrity, autonomy, authenticity, perhaps. And I guess that for someone to maybe have that sense of integrity or boundary even, or frame, or it can come from several places, right? It can come from a real true knowledge of who you are and a recognition of who you are. Everything, whatever is there, that you have somehow figured that out and you know exactly your strength. You also know your weaknesses. You know everything. It can come from an egoic frame of a sense of confidence or perseverance, so a sense of protective mechanisms. Whatever your frame is can be dictated by some of this, I guess. Another thing that came through while I was shuffling and meditating a little bit before the cards came out here was something about, I've said this before about Scorpio, that underneath your very thick iron-like protective mechanisms, there's actually a very, very beautiful heart, and but it's a heart that has some very strong needs. It needs to know that it is unconditionally loved. It needs to know that there's unconditional loyalty and devotion to them. Otherwise, it is too vulnerable to love. Unconditional love is extremely vulnerable. It requires something very specific of a partner. And if that partner cannot meet those needs and don't know it, like they don't know that this is underneath everything, if there is a lack in unconditional devotion or love or loyalty, it will break or it will hurt the Scorpio very deeply. And this is where the armor can come up and the claws and everything, because this is now a very deep wound. And someone dealing with Scorpio energy, like if you have a partner who is Scorpio, and you may literally see them switch before your eyes. Like from being the most loving, loyal partner you could ever have, you will see them switch, and it can become aggressive, it can become many things. But it's because it has touched upon something very specific for the Scorpio. And this must never happen, right? This is like a betrayal, I would say. I probably think Scorpio would see it as a betrayal. Not a thing that just happens with people, in this world because we do not love unconditionally. We don't even know what it means really. And we get hurt if we try to. Circumstances are not really here. Earth is not in a vibration of unconditional love. It may be coming. We know the fifth dimension is, if you believe in that it's approaching. And there is a decision to be made whether you are on one wagon or the other. In the Virgo and Libra reading, I talked about the split. There is a new awakening coming. I think it is already here. Pluto is in Aquarius. And many people, well, it depends on how your astrologer is pulling up your chart for you, your zodiac chart. In my opinion, I believe that many people in the generation that live currently, not the newest ones, being born between 1950 and 1989, many people have Pluto in Libra. Libra is about close relationships, marriage, a long-term partner. It can be siblings, family, close relationships. When Pluto is in Libra, it's going to challenge relationships. And Pluto entering Aquarius right now is like a more futuristic change. Pluto is all about transformation, death and rebirth. It will shake us up. I know other, spiritual people out there, they talk about that the awakening is here, like a greater awakening is here. Pluto is in Aquarius right now until September. A quick move back into Capricorn and then in Aquarius again for 18 years. This is a very long period of time where transformation can happen, but in a futuristic way, because that's how Aquarius is. It is new measures, new ways of thinking, new ways of having relationships. What is relationship actually? How do we want to live? Who is actually our family? If we think from a perspective of fifth dimensional love frequency, is our biological blood family actually our family? If we think about love, support, help, sustainable help, commitment, loyalty, can we even regard our blood family as family? These are just some of the thoughts that I personally have about this time that may be coming. Seeing splits in families, different choices. Again, some people will stay in the third dimension, an ego or soul choice, and some will try to embrace the newer energies coming. But as I said, in Libra, you have to trust that energy. And it will feel strange. It will challenge all your beliefs. It will challenge your all tradition, moral, everything that has to do with duty or like responsibilities. There's judgment there. And so taking this new path is leading you somewhere else that potentially has a better outcome or more loving outcome for you, but it will not necessarily be a lovey-dovey change, like it's demanding something of you. If we talk about unconditional love, we talk about unconditional devotion or loyalty. It's always very nice if that loyalty is given to us. But are we also prepared to do the same for our partner? So we expect it maybe from others. But can we truly give it back? Like, is that really a thing? Do we know how to do this? And what about how the world exists? We go to work, sometimes we are not available, sometimes we are not there to help or assist or whatever. What if we are caught between loyalties in, let's say, you have loyalty towards your husband, but you have also loyalties towards your children? What if we are caught in between something? And maybe you have loyalties towards yourself also. And love towards yourself. How do we administer this without someone getting hurt here? So what I'm basically asking is that if we are not sure that this world we are in and the environment we are in, the circumstances we are in, can allow for unconditional love or devotion to exist, it's probably not a demand we can require. Is it fair to require it if life doesn't offer it? Like if your partner can literally not offer it unless they betray themselves or they betray others. In what way is that loving? So there are always different angles to something like that. And what does it mean to love unconditionally? Like for Scorpio, I would imagine that there are certain requirements. Like there is a list, I guess. There could be a list, an emotional list, maybe a social list, maybe a physical list. And you have to be able to take all of them off, all of them. Then it is unconditional. Then it is unconditional loyalty and devotion from someone. But then on the other hand, they have to do the same with you. So I almost get like a feeling of a business deal. For this to be a thing, I guess that both parties should argue their case and what they would expect from someone else. And the other one would then reply whether they guess they can meet all these requirements that is necessary. And if they fail to meet 2 of them, well, it's not enough then. And what about those you haven't mentioned that just show up in life? So now I get a reference to something like well, it's maybe a bit sensitive, but so let's say you are married to someone, and maybe you did that. Maybe you did sit down and make the business deal. Maybe you made sure that we are compatible in the way we think. We have actually the same values and everything. We are married, we live our life, it actually goes quite well. we have children, and let's say you have 3 children and your wife is figuring out that she's pregnant again. And it's not that she doesn't like children, she already has 3 of her own. But she cannot see herself having another. And you, as the father, or the man perhaps, you would like the 4th child to be welcome. So now what? Maybe pregnancy takes a toll on her body. Maybe she already has her hands full. Because again, unconditional love requires a lot of loyalty and devotion, and sometimes also setting yourself aside for someone else to feel totally included and loved and unconditionally loved. What if there is a level to something? What if there's a level in this world to unconditional love? Or unconditional love or loyalty only can exist within certain situations. Can you exude unconditional no matter where you are? Like, can you have unconditional devotion to your job and also unconditional devotion and loyalty to your family? What if you need to have different? What if life requires you to have different? Which one to choose then? I think in the matter of the heart, close relationship, love relationship, I think that Scorpio, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I think that like this deep, deep, devoted understanding of loyalty and unconditional love is like a must. Like without it, it can never really be a love connection. And if something happens that is scattering this mutual feeling, it hurts very deeply. And there can be these ways of reacting, like I guess everyone has. But well, Scorpio, you take this to a different level sometimes. But there's 2 sides to the coin. Yes, it can be. I don't think there is, on an emotional level, Scorpio is probably the most loyal partner you can get. But I also believe that this mutual requirement of unconditional love, loyalty, and devotion can be even though it's the highest ideal for Scorpio, I guess, it can also be the worst virtue to uphold on both sides. It's difficult in this world. And I think it's important to know it about yourself, right? That you may have some very, very distinct needs. But also knowing that this world we live in, finding a partner like that is, I guess it's not it's not that it's not possible. You tell me if it's possible. I'm questioning it with what we see in the world. It's like the values are not really there. Like the values go in a different direction, I think. But again, we can talk about the split. The current world, or the third dimensional world, has one set of values. The split towards the more love frequency vibe has a different set. But living in this world requires that it's not only your needs met, someone else is involved. I don't know if it's possible. I think that there's a lot of superficial, shallow things going on in dating world. Not at all the level I guess a Scorpio is looking for. Not if it's a true love connection. All this superficiality, well, I guess that Scorpio can navigate it easily, I guess, but it will never touch you in the heart. It will never get to I hear something like it's not worth remembering, or it's not worth your it's not worth a memory. It is what it is. But it will never be more than that. So if we want a partner who is totally devoted to us, and we have recognized that we may need to be totally devoted to them as well, for this to work out, even though both may actually want that and commit to that, I don't know if it's still possible in this world, because other things in this world demands things of us. Again, I think it's something about, I talk about integrity and loyal or autonomy and things like that. So I think that if you just, it's maybe just something to consider. I don't know how this plays a role in your life. But having a strong desire for someone to be very loyal to you is, well, that's great. That you may desire that, you may need it, and you wish for it. And it's a criteria that cannot be unseen or disregarded in a true love connection. Just know that they too have a say, that they too have needs. It can never only be one way. And of course you know that. It's just sometimes where we know it, but it's not what we do. I believe all people at the core are driven by self wishes, self-perseverance, It's always about the self. This can be part of your integrity. It can be part of your autonomy, that you're not letting anyone close to you unless they know something about this about you. That you have very strong criteria. I just think it's important to integrate it, not hide it, expect it, or be very clear about it. People have different love language. Maybe they are not showing up in the way you want to. Maybe you are not showing up in the way they want to. The way we show love, the way we give, what we are offering, can be very misunderstood. It can be interpreted in different ways, or it's not what we need, or it's not what the other one needs, or what you need from them. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. It doesn't mean that they don't care. It just means that because they are different, they're not offering you necessarily what it is that you're looking for. You could be attracted to a Taurus Scorpio. Their love language is probably quite different than yours. It's an earth sign. What you may need from them may not be what they are offering. If you found an opposite, because that's exactly what they are. They are opposite than you. They're different than you. It doesn't mean that it's a bad person or they do it intentionally. It just means they're different. They have different values. They see things in a different way. They may be very attracted to you, you to them. It could be that you really want to, be each other's person. There may not be any ill will. But you are different. Like, opposites are always difficult, I think, difficult couples. It's difficult to couple with an opposite who doesn't really, at your core, get you, It doesn't mean that it's ill will. It doesn't mean that they are a bad person. It doesn't mean that it's a fraud or they did it on purpose or something. It just means that you are not the same. Many years ago, I read a book about love language and about this idea of what to expect of a new partner in your life, for instance. And the book concluded that, if you're lucky, the partner of yours would be able to maybe satisfy around 25% of your needs. Not more than that. I don't know if that's true. But I think that it's true that it will never be 100%, it will never even be 50%. That most of the satisfaction or most of the needs that needs to be met in you is something you need to give yourself. I think that is correct. What someone else can offer you is like a bonus. And it's even also like, is it fair, like, to put a responsibility on someone else to make you happy? Is that fair? Is it fair for them to, like, expect that from you, so their happiness depends on you? Your happiness depends on them? And equal, your misery or your unhappiness also depends on them. Like, that's way too much codependency there, isn't it? That's just my opinion. It's too much. to request from someone else who has their own free will, their own job, their own choices, their own friends, their own life, who is engaged in hobbies and other social activities, and then at the same time meeting all of your needs, or you theirs. Meeting someone new, if wanting someone new in your life, I think like owning what it is you are or what you are maybe requesting from someone is literally the first step. And then having a look on that. Is that fair? Is that a fair deal? To expect from someone, and like, would you be that one for someone else? If they expect you to fulfill at least 50% of all their needs in the world, would you be able to do that on a daily, everyday basis for the rest of your life? You can meet someone when you are 20, 25. Will they be the same person when they are 75? Probably not. Can we expect the same when they are 75? Of course not. Will you be the same when you are 75? Probably not. I'm just saying that if we want something from the world, we expect it in a partner, we have to look at ourselves also in the process. And with Pluto in the midst right now, I'm guessing that some of this will be scattered. Like some of this will be, some of the ideas we have of our integrity or our wishes for the world or wishes from the world. I guess some of this, it's like a puzzle piece. You throw it in the air and you're trying to catch the pieces again and put it back together. I guess with Pluto here, we are going to be invited to go along with the changes that come in relationships, or we stay. We stay where we are. We don't want to change. We stick to our principles. We want the same. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. You decide that. I'm just suggesting that Pluto in the mixed for a period of 18 years in Aquarius, with the new age coming in or the new world coming in, I'm just suggesting that there can be split-ups, there can be change of mind, there can be new ways of understanding things, there can be a different wisdom, there can be a different truth that is coming in. Either you figure it out or someone else does. New choices, new ways of communicating, new knowledge. That's what I'm saying. And in that process, it would be a very good thing to know your integrity, or to have and know exactly who you are. And as I said in the beginning, what is your frame made of? Is it just egoic, defense mechanisms? Like, is the frame like a true core? Does it reference right to your core? Is it a broken ego? Is it narcissistic? What is it? To just know what it is. I think all people in us, whether they want to recognize it or not, in the way we have been brought up and the way we relate to each other, I think there's a part of us that is a part of us has a very loving tone, and a part of us has a bit of a narcissistic tone. I think it's impossible not to have something that is trying to protect us, that it has no trust. And then there are other parts of us who wants to trust, who wants to embrace. I think we are all a mix. I don't think that any of us are all good or all bad. I think it's a very much a mix, and it's about recognizing these pieces in us and having peace with them. That I know that I can react in certain ways when this and this happens. I'm aware of this. And I embrace that, okay, this is just a part of me, and maybe it's due to some kind of wounding, maybe it's due to some kind of, but I don't want to, take it with me into a new relationship. Or at least I want to be honest. I want to say that, okay, I can't be jealous. I have a trigger about jealousy perhaps, and it's these specific areas. So if you truly want to be with me, you need to know some of this, right? That is a vulnerability, to show up with that kind of truth or that kind of honesty. It takes the relationship to a different level. Not everybody wants to know, not everybody wants to be responsible for this. And owning your triggers are also a part of it. Like, you know what is good for you and what's bad for you. And you also know if you want to walk away. No matter how attracted you can be to someone, that you own it and you take responsibility for your triggers. On both sides, of course. It's all a part of the autonomy thing and the integrity, that I know what I am. I know that I want this, I need this, or I need that from a partner. If the heart is involved, it's probably not a game. It could be, of course, but we can always mirror it and think about it if they were playing a game with you, right? How that would feel. And if we are playing games, we are also not actually really anticipating in love. It's more of a control dominance thing then. And control and dominance, I guess, is, in my opinion, it has nothing to do with love at all. It is a response to something that went wrong. It is a result of, you would say, maybe a broken heart, and from that point I never allow love in again, so instead I am now exuding control and I, 'cause control and dominance instead. So I'm choosing a lesser version of intimacy. As a result of something. But that's just my opinion. I think it's all about just owning what it is that you are or what you can offer. I think that Scorpio have beautiful, beautiful hearts until something happens that feels so disloyal, so such betrayal. Like if Scorpio feels that, like this is such betrayal, such disloyalty, then Scorpio can change into something else or choose another path. It's just, if you meet someone new, like they have nothing to do with that. So if you are still operating from that point, that space of feeling mistrust, it will never be that kind of relationship. It will never be a deep relationship. So I guess I'm just asking or saying to Scorpio that I guess I'm asking, who are you, Scorpio, in this? And what do you choose about the new earth? Like, do you choose to trust what's coming? Even if it's requiring you to turn and twist your puzzle pieces as well? Or do you stick to certain principles? I'm pretty sure everyone will be affected by this Pluto. Depending on, again, where this is in your chart. As I said, I think that many people have the same placement. And it will be about relationships, close relationships, sexual relationships, sensual, romantic relationships, family dynamics, siblings. Typically where we can say the heart could be involved, right? But, well, you can have a look at this. I'm just saying that it can come in. Like this can present itself in your life during the next, as I said, we have a taste of it, I feel like, just a taste until September. Then Pluto revisits Capricorn and then moves into Pluto again and stays there for 18 years. What we are facing until September is just a taste of it. Just have a look. What happens in your life over the next half year or so with relationships? Just saying, right? Okay, let's have a look at the cards here. Door to value, Wind, and Queen of Air reversed here. Okay, this card in the center card always important, so I take this one first. Door of value. This card came up, was it in the Virgo reading or Libra? One of those. And in that reading, I talked about that this could be seen as the door opening to the fifth dimension, that on this side, if we're standing here, on this side of the door, we are in the third dimension. And on the other side here, if we pass through here and we walk in here, we can enter towards the fifth dimensional energy. On this side, we have like the way the world is considered. Everything that is going on in the world is a trade. It's conditional. Money rules the world. It's masculine and it's quite like, if I want an apple, I pay you to get the apple. Right? That there is this trade going on. Or we even have competition here, worth, value. Everything that has to do with value in this world can be considered in something like money or fame or status or something like that. So value has a certain description on this side of the door, and value can have a different description on the other side of the door. That what is valuable or considered worthy or good or successful or something in the third dimension is like there are certain attributes to that, and in the new one they're different. So which one do you like? We could say that this is also like a time to consider what value is, what you value the most in relationships perhaps, or in your life in general. What is worth fighting for, really? What do you want to do with your life? If you could, like, what do you find valuable? If you could, like with a blank slate, just describe what value is for you, what is that then? What has value? Is it loyalty, as I said? Would you use word like that? Would loyalty and unconditional love surpass success and fame, for instance? Which words or which life experiences or states of being would you consider of value? Is it something money can buy? Or is it something else? There could be a question here for you about what actually value is. What does it mean? And what do I put value on? Maybe which kind of people? What kind of actions? And that can be something that defines your core, right? It can define who you are. Then it's interesting that I have wind up here, and I have Queen of Air at the bottom but reversed, because they are both air cards. So this position is usually about the crown chakra, the mind, how you think. And then down here we have more of a root chakra, more of a, we could say, a base that is, well, I believe that the root chakra, where people can hold most trauma if they have some, if the root chakra has not been considered or looked at, you would probably, like the footing in life, feeling you stand on your own 2 feet and you are firmly grounded, especially if this is about confidence, that you have worth in this world, that you have value. Then I would say there could be something about how well this self-worth of yours is. And again, it's a general reading. It will not be for everyone, of course not. So the interesting thing that I immediately noticed when I look at these cards here beside each other is that they both are wind or they are both air. She comes across as quite clear. You can easily see her. It's very blue, which is also a sign of air, communication, throat chakra, third eye. She's quite clear. We can see her quite clearly. She has this wise owl by her side. And she fills up the space. Like she takes her room. This would be someone who would speak her mind. We would know her. She would be someone we notices in the room because we can hear her and we can see her. This one, though, feels a little more scattered, or like she's there, right? But she's not there. She doesn't take up just as much room. She's a bit more, well, unclear or dimmed, I would say here. So this could suggest for me something like a Scorpio who is wondering about value, worth, self-worth, confidence perhaps. What really matters in life. And there is a confusion with this, I feel like, dimmed version of her here. Like, because she is reversed here in the root position, it's like it could be something like, because she's reversed in the root, it means that a clear voice, a clear decision-making strategy in you, a queen here also. A queen is not like a page. A queen knows her worth. She knows her mind. She is quite clever when she's like this. She's quite clever. She takes action. She speaks her mind. And as I say, she can fill up the room. She is knowledgeable, brilliant. She has no problem speaking her mind because she knows who she is. She's grounded. Her roots are deep. If you have an unclear voice here in you, not as settled, grounded, solid, identity, I want to say also, like her identity is very clear here. If you don't have that, of who you are, what you stand for, and you can speak with confidence, if you don't have that, door to value is probably difficult, like to open the door or to get new results. that it all comes down to your confidence of who you are and what you believe in. Again, I feel like there's nothing wrong with strong convictions about loyalty, for instance. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just owning it. That's what I feel. That's their integrity. That's the and it is important to you. It's undebatable for you, perhaps. So own it, right? So own it and just know that other people may not have the same. They may not understand to the extent of how important it is to you unless you explain it to them. Unless you try to explain it to them. That this is your core. And if someone messes with your core, it hurts you, right? It hurts you deeply. I just feel like it's about that. It's about owning that this is vital. It's crucial. I can never, ever settle. I cannot settle. Because I will betray myself if I do so. I will hurt myself if I do so. That's how important it is for me. Well, then don't. Just know that the world around you may not know how to satisfy that need. They may not know how to give it to you or make sure you feel it. Some of this is on you also. How to figure out how to, you could say, assure yourself or assert yourself with certain needs. It's on you as well to figure that out. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just owning it. Owning that I do have this strong need. How can I somehow figure out how to, saturate it or nurture it? Because expecting someone else to do that all the time, forever, for the next 50 years, that is maybe a bit much to expect, And I'm aware that I put this on this will maybe not be for all Scorpios, right? That it's so critical. I'm speaking to someone where this is very critical. I also feel like who is worthy of, entering your heart here? Who has what it takes to enter? Or will you allow someone to, will the door be opened for someone? Will they be worthy of your beautiful heart? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If that's how you feel, it's how you feel. It's just that people are different. Like they may not understand, or maybe if you find another Scorpio, they will understand. They will get you, perhaps. I'm just saying, sometimes Scorpio are attracted to the opposite, which is a Taurus, and Taurus may not have this. They may not see the world like you. If you have an unsure grounding of your identity, or you don't know how to speak it, it will be something a bit more dimmed or muddled here. This could be a feeling of brain fog, that you don't have a clear vision of her here. Like she looks like this in your mind. This is how she comes across. She's not as clear. She's not as direct, perhaps. Like this Queen of Air can be quite direct and very honest, and very to the point. It's a swords energy. It's very, it pierces through, like a sword. It pierces through everything. It can be almost sometimes, well, she's a queen, but it can be a bit brutally honest sometimes. Again, we can have Aquarius here, right? Aquarius energy, Pluto in Aquarius. Aquarius can be a bit like that. To the point, to the bone, speaking your truth, knowing what it is you are, standing by it, not botching, like being very solid and strong about what it is you are and what you find valuable here. And only the worthy may come in. Only the worthy may enter. We could say. Only the worthy may enter. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It is what it is. And it's all about your autonomy. Like if that is who you are, and that is what you're looking for, I would say, okay, own it then. Integrate it so that she comes up here, right? And you speak your mind from this position. Maybe she is coming, like maybe she's on the way here, right? But it's still a bit unclear, or a bit like this identity may not be fully integrated, or not, like when we speak like this, it can come across as very aloof, or like too direct, maybe too honest or oversharing or something. So you figure out which one is best. Like, is it best to dim it down and hide it a bit? Or, you look at people and you decide whether you think they fit the bill here. So he is here, she is here, but I can't really show her. I can't tell her. I can't tell it. It could be like a choice not to be fully honest here. And it could be because you don't know, like she is reversed here. You don't know how to express a certain truth here. Or you don't want to. Like there could be an avoidant choice here. That there are only very, very few people that are actually worthy to enter here. But I can't speak that truth. I know it will be unpopular. Or I know that this can be about trust. Like when she's reversed here, there could be a feeling of not trusting. And that's why she is maybe avoidant here. In the way she comes across, she's dimmed. She's not, fully there in her full presence. It's a more it could be someone who takes their time, If they get to know someone new, they would take their time to figure out if that person is worthy of entering here. If you would allow them in. This is a way to control the situation, right? If I hold my voice back, I'm not saying, I see if they show me if they are worthy of entering my heart. But as long as I am in charge here, they cannot hurt me. As long as I'm controlling this, they can not affect me. I have the upper hand. I think many people may have a strategy like this, maybe not as hardcore as you perhaps, Scorpio, but you know, we hold a bit back until we know a little more about this person. You know, like especially if we have had several relationships that didn't work out, we become a little more reluctant or maybe a little more careful. Or, as I said, it could be shallow. It could be shallow, right? What kind of value do people add to your life? It could be shallow. But you may still choose it instead of love. This is not a door to romance. It's a door to value. So what kind of value do people in your life give you? Do they add value to your life in some sense? And if they add value, you decide whether you want to let them in or not. So you could be choosing this as a strategy to control situations. That's not uncommon. I think it's fairly used, actually. Many people do this. But just know, if you do it from a very strong core of who you know, like you know who you are, and you know what it is that you want, what you're looking for. Because she is reversed here, and it tells me that it could be a bit of an unclear footing. Not quite knowing, or she is not fully integrated, this one. And that's the reason why you may come across, because this is the crown position, so this is the way you think, this is the way you interpret the world, these are the glasses you look through, this is how you communicate. It can be a bit of an unclear voice. You know, like you could be more, instead of very clear, you could be a bit more mysterious, you know, or a bit more like you speak in riddles or something like that. You know, something like that, maybe to intrigue people or something. But that could be a way of how this shows up. You only give half truths, or you're not speaking the full picture. You don't show yourself fully, or you're not speaking. And it could be because like she's not quite there yet, or she's not. Let's have the bottom of the deck here for her. So I get the Fool here. The Fool is a driver towards her. So this can be something that you go through before you get to this. So what I get from this is, like, first of all, the Fool card is the first card in the tarot. It's a 0 card. It's a new beginning. It's new. And that could be why she's not quite here, or she is somehow reversed here. Because it's like she's not integrated. Again, she walks around here. The Fool card has to go through something to learn something. This is like a blank slate of the hero's journey. And she may have the potential of this Queen of Air here, but she's not there yet, you know. She's not integrated. She doesn't know, the Fool doesn't know what the Queen knows. Like, she has learned something from life. she's a mature woman, where this is like a girl, right? A girl that she just walks around in the grass here. The Fool, sometimes it doesn't know direction still. It's still as I said, like a child that is just walking around. It doesn't fear anything. It hasn't experienced fear yet. It hasn't experienced like success and loss yet. It's quite new. So this could be a feeling of that there's a part of you that is, again, I actually see her with the horn here, that it's almost like she's calling, like she's making this noise, or she's making this tune with the instrument to somehow figure out where to go, or to find her knowledge perhaps. But as a Fool, she could go in one direction or the other or a third. She doesn't know yet. So she is just trying, like she takes one step at a time here to figure something out. And she will experience something. And when she experiences something, it's either going to help her integrate this queen, or it's going to slow her down. So whatever the Fool experiences here will either integrate a strong voice here and knowledge, or it will not. But again, it's still a Fool, so it tells me that it could be because it's fairly new. Like it's maybe a sense of like a fairly new experience. That you feel like you have to take a new path, or you have to try something new in life, and you're not quite sure where it's going to take you. You just know you have to do something, change something in your life, perhaps. So for the door of value here, I get caring connection. So this is, again, this is something that happens before this. So you could have been in a relationship here with someone, and maybe it was a fairly good one, caring relationships here. But for some reason, this leads you to this. Maybe you realize what a caring connection actually needs for you to be caring. What has to be in this picture so that you consider it caring? What kind of things must be available here? When is it considering caring? In what way does it add value to your life? In what way is it nurturing or, supportive? From this direction, even with a Fool here, it could be that, a bit careless, you walk into a relationship not knowing much about relationships. That's how the Fool operates. You are not, you don't know much about it. It could also suggest that this is a new kind, a different kind of person, Like this could be someone that you, like early on in life, you would never have considered them as a partner. They wouldn't have seemed like a match for you. But you are trying a new strategy here with someone new, or you are considering it. So if you are considering a new partnership here, what is supposed to be in here? Like, if this should be a caring connection, what are they like? What do they do? How do they act? So that it can open your heart here. What does it take here to open? When is it worthy? What kind here is worthy to open your heart? Do you see? So like this could be a new approach here. And because it's a new approach, you don't know fully. You're not quite sure yet. She is not integrated, this beautiful queen of air. You don't have like you would say, a total description yet. You're considering it, or you have been considering it. It's not quite there yet. You're wondering what needs to be there to open that heart of yours. What is worthy enough? Like, who would be worthy enough to open your heart here? What should they be like? How should they act? What should be there? How should their heart space be? How should their way of thinking be, their priorities, their loyalties? All of this could be something you're considering. Maybe at the moment, or with Pluto, as I said, it's usually Pluto usually inspires us to figure something out. For this wind here, the reason why the wind card shows up like this can be this driver here. Water reversed. So water reversed tells me, water is all about emotions. It's about also watery consciousness, I would say, like, are they romantic? Are they, do they consider we have a bubble here. So do they consider what I call two-ness? Like the melding together of two souls. Do they consider this two-ness, this connectedness, this melting together as something important? If they don't, because this is reversed, if they don't, I am not going to invest much. If I'm not sure whether people will be twosome with me, enter the bubble with me, or, like choose like total devotion or whatever you have considered here, if they don't want that, I will be more withdrawn, more dimmed. I will not invest. Or I'm just not going to like pay attention. Right? So how you are maybe choosing partners has to do with this, I guess. Will they build this bubble with me? Like, will they love this bubble as much as I do? Will they enter this special kind of maybe unconditional love here with me? If they don't want that, if they are not showing up clearly here, or they are saying no to it, or they have they have different priorities. They break the bubble from time to time here. It becomes more and more dim for you. You can't invest. Like, you can't invest yourself. You would maybe withdraw from conversation. You would maybe disappear. Again, look at how she's dimmed here. You would disappear. Or because this is not fully integrated here, you wouldn't know exactly what to say. Again, this is not a reading for everyone. Just remember, right? It will not be for everyone. This one is crucial whether you will figure out what to say to end a relationship, perhaps. Again, I don't hope this is like that if people are not staying in the bubble, they break it from time to time. It disappoints you. That this means that you withdraw, but still stay. That you stay in the relationship, but are miserable. That you stay, but you become more and more miserable in it. I'm not saying whether you should go or leave. I'm just saying if this resonates with you, there's something about this one you have to become very clear about. Who she is, this one. I see her as integrity. I see her as voice. I see her as clarity of mind, clarity of voice, clear identity, owning and knowing what you are, standing by it. She also has boundaries of what she wants to live with and accept, right? She has with her a devoted partner here. Someone by her side, someone she trusts. It's a partnership. That's what I feel like I get from this reading. There's something about the loyalties, this maybe the bubble that you want to have with someone, something that is unbreakable, an emotional unbreakable bond or something that you're looking for. And if someone doesn't want to invest in that, this two-ness, this melting together as one, and when we do this, we are strong, right? This is a very special bond. This is a very special way of existing. We have each other's back. We are partners, melted together here in unconditional love and devotion and loyalty. And it can never be broken. But you see, if people don't want that, or they say they do, but then they break it, or at least in your eyes they break it, then it makes you disappointed, or you cannot be invested. You dim down here. Your mind starts to wander. You may start looking at others, seeking another partner or something like that. Because deep down there is this, is it worth my time? Is it worth my heart? Is it worth opening my door here? Are they worthy? Are they worthy of my heart? Are they truly worthy? Like these go together here, in upright, right? Someone needs to commit to something here for me to open my door. Not reversed, right? But someone needs to commit to this special kind of unconditional two-ness or melting together here as one. Then I open my door. And if they can't do that, I won't open it. Right? I'm not opening it. And it could be a fairly new approach. Maybe you're trying something new, or it is a new recognition in you that you have realized if someone is not, if they don't bring the right thing here for me, it's not a caring connection. Again, I say that people have different love language. They bring things to a relationships, but maybe it's not what you want. Or maybe it's not what you need, It doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad people. It just means that they have different ways. They experience love and love actions in particular ways that are maybe different than yours. In their world, this doesn't exist. Like, this is not a thing. This is watery. Of course it is for you, because you are a water sign. So of course it's watery. For an earth sign, this could talk about gifts, practical earthy gifts, or holidays, or a new bike, a new car, a travel somewhere. They want to surprise you with flowers or a new watch or something. But what you are seeking is intimacy. You seek close heart connection. You seek something particular here. If they don't show up with that, you lose interest, right? That's what I see. again, as I said, a Scorpio would understand this. A Scorpio would know what this feels like. They would get it. If they can provide it, I don't know. If you can provide it for each other, I don't know. But they would understand about the bubble, I guess, here. I think they would. Another Scorpio would understand the bubble here. This very special commitment or contract, or like loyalty and devotion on such a deep, devoted level. But you also see, like, this requires no mistakes. No mistakes can happen here. Then the bubble bursts. It's a big responsibility to carry on both parts. It's a big responsibility in this world. Because I don't think this world is very conducive to unconditional love. Like, the world requires so much else of us that this looks a little more of like a fantasy. So you just have to figure out what to do about this, if this is how you feel. What to do about it. Are there other ways of ensuring, because a bubble here is, again, as I say, if you are with them from 25 to 75, is it possible for this bubble to stay intact all the time? I don't think so. Things, circumstances, illnesses, death, other things can influence us to the point where we cannot stay perfectly caring all the time. So if you want to stick to this, okay. If you are maybe wondering if you should have negotiations with yourself about this, you can do that, of course. It's an inner process of what you want to open, what is worthy of your heart, perhaps. What must be here for me to open or find it worthy enough of my heart bubble, you could say. And if people don't show up in the right way, they don't commit to certain things, they don't offer certain things or certain intimacy, certain heart connections, or certain, they are not, they are not open, or they are not sharing. They don't speak openly about their emotions. You can't invest. So you just own that if that's how you feel. Again, it's part of your integrity or your autonomy that this is how I am, this is who I am, and what I'm expecting. And maybe I have high standards. Maybe I'm even looking for something, a bit of a fantastical person here. But it's who I am. This is how I am. And if I feel like this, I will probably also be prepared to wait. And if not, well, then you are probably settling. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just to know what it is. It's just to distinguish one from the other. That it is what it is. And there's nothing more to be expected. If you are engaging with something more shallow, you cannot expect them to turn this around and suddenly become the bubble with you here. They are what they are, it is what it is, it presents like that, and it is exactly that, and nothing more. So if you have a real strong longing here for something very particular, you could be needing to become very much aware what that exactly is. Maybe you write it down, you write it down, and then you have a look at it. Look at the criteria, and then you think, is this possible to have in one person? Is it reasonable to expect from one person? And would I do the same for them? Sometimes this puts things in a different perspective, I think. You may still have those needs, and then it's like maybe we need those needs filled in different ways. It may not be from just one person. Maybe you have certain needs met from that spouse and other needs met in a different way. Maybe you find ways also to soothe some of this on your own. You find ways to heal on your own. I don't know, I just have this is like the message I have, and I'm not saying it's like you can own it and stand by it, and I'm not saying like it's fine. It's okay, it's fine. Whether you will find a person who will enter that bubble with you, I don't know. Or even someone who can, and can it long term, I don't know. I'm just saying that if this is at your core, if this is how you feel, well, you may need to own it. You may also need to wait then and be patient. You may need to develop this one very clearly, exactly who she is. Speak your truth, like from the get-go, so that you're not, wasting your time. Or you are settling, but just know that when you settle, they will not necessarily turn this around. They will not necessarily suddenly enter your bubble with you here. Be able to. I feel like it's very much about being able to. Maybe it's not that they don't want to, but they're not able to. Life is not supporting this. It's too close. Life expects other things of us. Life expects us to take care of kids or grandparents or siblings or at work, or you have hobbies or friends or engaging otherwise. At some point this bubble can break, right? And it may not be of ill will, it just happens. And then it's about your reaction to that. How do you react? So it's also about your reactivity to an event that may not be of ill will. You know? Like the more you melt with someone, the more you enmesh or you fuse, I want to say, with someone, the more attached you are. And this can be a beautiful thing, of course, unless someone is leaving. Then it can break your heart, literally. It can throw you to the ground. That's how vulnerable I believe that Scorpio love can be at the core. Because without them, it's like you are totally melted together with them. And if someone is leaving, you are utterly naked. You are utterly exposed and utterly vulnerable. And I think that this is a fear within Scorpio. Like the love that you may actually deep down feel and long for with someone can scare you. Like it's so vulnerable that it's frightening. It's scary to go there. It's scary to almost have that feeling with someone. And that could be the reason why you may end up with partners who cannot enter this with you. Because then it won't become that vulnerable, it won't be that scary. But at the same time, you may long for it, you know? So maybe sometimes it's better or more, maybe both healthy and safer to choose a partner who cannot enter this or is not stable here, and keep it on like dimmed, like keeping this idea of like total like fused partnership with someone, keeping it dimmed, because if something goes wrong, you will not be scattered, right? You will not be thrown to pieces. You will not have a destroyed heart. So choosing someone who is maybe only partly worthy of your time and love and care is safer than the full package, if you understand what I mean. That could be the reason why you're choosing differently here. This could also suggest that you are walking away, or that, because it's reversed, that you are leaving the idea of a full partner here. That you're leaving this idea behind of a full partner, someone who you are totally and utterly fused with. And this is very open and very clear and very very naked, maybe. That you are choosing not to follow this. You're choosing a new path of a caring connection, yes, but they must still, they must present in a certain way to be worthy of having a bit of a look into your heart here. You may know that they can never fully be that person for me. At some point, this bubble is not lasting, but it's better that way, because a fully fused partnership is too dangerous. And either way, no matter what you choose, I just feel like probably own it and know why you make the decision. So if you choose someone deliberately who can never be that bubble for you, just own that. Know that you do it for a specific reason. And that is what you choose to do. And if you're trying to do the other way, that you're trying to integrate this one, you haven't found someone yet who is willing to enter this bubble with you, but you haven't given up. You're trying to figure out who must they be for me to open, for them, like to add that much value. I'm sorry. Do they have what I need? Can they add that value to my life? Are they worthy of me, of my heart? Are they worthy in my eyes to have a look? Inside here? Will I open my door and let them in? So yeah, because again, this is a driver card. This is like a past position of where you feel like the bubble bursted. It didn't last. They were not able to stay in here with me. And therefore I choose not to believe in a full fused partnership. I go along with a dimmer version of something. That could also be the reason why the cards show up like this. Maybe you know you need a new approach, or you are on the outlook for someone new, but you will never find a new one that is fully fused with, that wants to fully fuse with you here, unless you have figured out what this actually means. That you are fully aware of what this means on both sides, and you are clear and honest about it. You will never find that person. You can try again and again and again and again. And being very honest about it and telling them exactly what it is you're looking for. Yeah, you may scare people away, but at the same time, you're not wasting your time. If this is like a non-negotiable requirement of yours. And I actually think it is for Scorpio. It comes down to like utter naked vulnerability, so it's a serious matter. Or it can be a serious matter. And if something like that happens where the bubble bursts and someone is defusing from you, I think this is where you can raise a tsunami, right? This is where you can become very, very angry and very disappointed and very aggressive maybe. You raise the tsunami, right? And sometimes other people may not understand. Like they may not understand what's going on. They have no idea of this, what this is, what you're looking for here. I think I do. I have some kind of understanding. Maybe not to the full extent, but I'm trying. So if you're dealing with a Scorpio and there have been things going on with reactions, or you are the Scorpio who feels neglected or betrayed by someone, it may all come down to some of this. It may come down to this. It has to do with your core and theirs, and they may not be the same. And trying to convince someone who is different than you, very different, like a Taurus, try to convince them to think like you and act like you and have the same priorities like you, same values like you. Well, they don't. They don't do that. They may do it for a time, then they can't live there. Like they can't, it's not, they can't, it means that you ask them to change who they are. What if they were asking the same of you? Would you change? Would you be able to change for them? Like that's what I feel like. It's like if we want to fuse perhaps with something, but staying there is a different matter. again, I feel like it takes a Scorpio to understand a Scorpio or similar, a Cancer moon or something. It takes someone. It takes a deep thinker, a deep emotional thinker to understand this, or feeler. And why it is so important. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, because you are what you are, like you are who you are. And I don't think there's anything wrong with any zodiac sign. It's just understanding where they come from, why this is so important, or even a serious matter, why this is the core. If you don't even know this about yourself, how can you explain it to someone else? Or even negotiate about it? Or even negotiate with yourself about it? Yeah. I still think it's about autonomy and integrity, owning that this is who I am, and I need some of this in my life to feel like appreciated, and feel I wanted to feel the care here, to feel that someone cares about me, loves me, is there for me, with me on my path. You are masculine water sign, right? It's that's why sometimes I really feel like that. We are attracted to our opposite, but the one that actually gets us is our best friend. And they may not be a Taurus, right? They may be a Scorpio like you, or a Cancer moon, Pisces moon or something. They may understand, because they're more like you. They get you, they support you, they understand your needs because they have them too. But the one you are attracted to, maybe not really. It's interesting how that works sometimes. But you can think about this, and maybe you are disagreeing with me. And again, this reading will not be for everyone out there. I'm just saying that sometimes like I've had to go through, maybe not exactly this, but other similar situations where I was maybe having many requirements to a situation. And if I wanted to put that responsibility on one person, it would maybe be like a full-time job, And maybe that's not fair, because they have their own life as well. So this is what I feel like I have, Scorpio. I wish you luck on your journey towards the bubble, perhaps here. I hope it will turn out well for you. I hope it exists, and you can be very happy here. I hope you find it. I wish you the very best out there. As always, I send you love and light. I hope you find what you're looking for. And well, I hope this has just been an inspiration to have a deeper look at what it is that you really need, and what you, and if this is a fair request in the world. And if you can find other ways of settling some of this. Otherwise, we can end up being alone, right? And maybe you choose that more than having a shallow relationship. I don't know. It's your choice. But this is what I have. I hope this helped in some way. Take care of yourself out there, Scorpio. Love and light to you. Bye-bye.